Hey, everybody, I'm Tommy, and you're on the boat. Welcome, Sony. Good to have you here. Diane, how are you? David Booley, good to have you here. Ashley G. Patty King, I am glad that you are here. Baton Rouge in the house. If you've not said where you are chiming in from, please do so. It gives everybody a chance to kind of figure out who you are, where you are. And we are, believe it or not, a bit of a family around here. Anne from Massachusetts, a little redundant. We know where Anne's from. Muy bien. See that? We got somebody bilingual in the chat. People, this is going to be one of those shows. Hello, Renee B. Shannon Young, how are you? From Indiana. Welcome. Here's the thing. I'm 53 seconds in, so I should probably go a little bit longer before I say this stuff, but I'm just going to say it. My last four. Hello, Orly. I'm glad you're back. New York City. Good to have you here. My last four shows have been demonetized. The YouTube doesn't like the things that I say. Janet Brown, how are you? Misal Smokes, good to see you. Ash Bash, also from New York City. Catherine J, good to have you here. So they don't like what I say. It is what it is, right? Hey, Tennessee girl, it is what it is. There's not much I can do about that because I don't intend to police my speech. It is what it is. Manchester, Connecticut in the house. Hey, Carolyn, good to have you here from Ontario, Canada. Just Joan? Well, say goodbye to Reese and have a good time doing that. Hello, Paula. Caroline in Canada. Andrea Malloy, look at you. Andrea Malloy's here. I'm so glad you're here, Andrea Malloy. You're going to make this, you're going to make the launch of this a whole lot easier. And I'm sorry that you didn't get a chance to get warned on this because I was going to warn people. But I got a new person in the chat, and they reached out to me and said, hey, Australia's in the house. They reached out and said to me, hello, Renee B. I will get back to that super chat as soon as I'm done with Andrea Malloy, calling in from New Jersey. The person reached out to me and said, you don't get emails. They actually talked to one of my mods who sent me a WhatsApp message because I don't read emails anymore. I don't do any of that. And they said, I know that you don't want to hear about things other people say about you or whatever, but you'd be shocked the number of people in your chat who take the time to go into other chats and destroy you and the people that you care about. And I said, you know what? I don't much care. I really don't. It's one of those things that I'm trying to get over. And then I sat around and I thought about it. And I'm going to give you an example. Let's say I said to you, you're a piece of shit, right? Your husband sucks. Your brother's absolutely a dirtbag. And your son is just the worst human being on the planet. Would you invite me into your living room? You wouldn't, right? That's logical. You just wouldn't do it. Andrea Malloy here likes to trash my family members on other channels. She's over there on channels that literally make nothing but hate about me. That's you, Andrea Malloy. That's you. And I saw the screenshots of the nice, lovely things that you say. So to then come into my living room and act like you're not trashing my family, I find absolutely detestable. I really do. I find it to be completely foul. So I'm going to ask someone with a wrench now to get rid of Andrea Malloy so that I never have to see her again. And this can be a warning to the other people. I'm not going to go out and look. Yeah, you do. If you'd like, I'll put up screenshots. But do me a favor, someone, and get rid of Andrea Malloy so that I don't have to see her again. See this woman? I'm married to her. You didn't say anything about her on any other channels, did you? Okay. Or my son or my brother? Because if you trash my family, you sure as shit are not invited into my home. And whether you like this or not, this is my house. Freedom of speech here is my freedom of speech. It's not yours. So you want to go exercise yours somewhere else? Go hang out on the Knife Hoarders channel. Go hang out on any of the other channels and have a good time trashing the people I care about. The fact that you're hanging out there says plenty about who you are. And we'll get into that in a minute. But you're gone, Andrea Malloy. Hit her with a wrench. I don't ever want to see her again because she is not a good person. It's that simple. Who takes the time to be mean? Well, a lot of people. And here's what I do. I'm 4 minutes in. Thank you, Andrea Malloy, because now you're going to keep me from cursing in the first 3 minutes. But what I do is eat shit for a living. When you do what I do, you just have to take it. You have to sit and take it. Or you can engage in every single one of these people that do stuff to you. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shame the people that decide to do this on other channels, who think that they're anonymous, who think that they can go and trash people I care about and be anonymous. I'm going to get rid of you. Now, by the way, I'm talking about other things tonight other than that, but Andrea Malloy kind of kicked it off because I'm not having people like that on my channel. Hate sucks in every one of its forms. It sucks. So if you want to be one of those people that go out and hate, knock yourself the fuck out, but you're not going to do it on my channel. I'm done with it. You understand? Life is too short, says if you say so, and it is. And here's the deal. I don't have to put up with it. Whether you like the free speech thing or not, this is my living room, right? See this? That's a picture of my wife. This is my living room. You're not going to impart what you want on my living room. Saw a lot of other really funny comments. One said, boy, I wish Reese wouldn't show up in Tommy's chat because every time she does, he decides to leave. Rocket scientist. Go back and look at the length of every single video I do, right? I have a length. Normally they go about an hour and 5 minutes. If the chat is cooking, and right now it's cooking, but if the chat is cooking, I might go an hour and 20. If the chat's on fire, and you probably don't know analytics, but if the chat rate is about a 1.2 or a 1.6, I'll go 2 hours. My chat rate last night was at a 0.64. Wasn't a lot of reason to continue. I had said the things that I needed to say, but people just want to be hateful. And you know what? I ain't got time for it. And I sure as shit am not allowing it on my platform. You know, this is the big red button. No, it's not. The big red button lets me take my channel onto this platform. I can block your happy ass and never have to look at you again, Andrea Malloy. I find it distressing that someone can sit and look at me and go, you're fantastic. I love you. I love the work you do. And then on another channel, talk about what a pig my wife is or what a scumbag my son or brother are. You know what? F you. In the real world, no one would allow that to happen. But in this world, I was just on another chat a couple of minutes ago. And someone said, well, I watch so-and-so, but I don't watch them when they're trashing you. Would that work in the real world? If I said, hey, your brother, your wife, and your son are losers, right? Your husband's a piece of shit. So is your kid and your brother. Would you go, well, when Tommy's not talking about that, he's such an interesting guy, I'm going to invite him to my Christmas party? No, you would not. And I'm not going to either, right? Welcome to the boat. This is absolutely ridiculous. And I can't believe I got to do this shit once a year, but I do. Because I don't talk about content creators. I don't talk about people that do this shit. Unless you want to elevate it to a level that just makes you, I'm sorry, go ahead and complain, retarded. It literally makes you retarded. Now I'm going to have people go, that's not a word you can use anymore. I'll use whatever word I want. I like faggot a lot too. And if that offends you, you can beat it, right? I'm not talking about gay people. I grew up using that word. I called my brother a faggot for 15 years of my life. The guy isn't gay. You're not going to tell me how I can speak. And you're sure as shit not going to tell me who I can invite into my living room when you guys are scumbags. Now, let's get on to the other idiots that need to be addressed. The Epstein files, right? The Epstein files is a very uncomfortable situation for all parties involved. I talked about it last night. And I got comments today that said George Bush, the first one, molested little boys. He did it with Trump and with Bill Clinton present. Those three people molested little boys. Those little boys had to watch them eat the intestines of other people. And I am holding this back because I'm a MAGA person. This comment came in today. I swear to God, you can't make this shit up. Critical thinking is dead on planet Earth. If you have been a president at any time in your life, you have Secret Service. Secret Service follows you everywhere you go. Secret Service documents everything you do, everywhere you go for the rest of your life. Even if you're not president anymore, you're stuck with them for eternity. So you want me to believe that the Secret Service details for 3 previous presidents were all involved in bringing these people out to where a child was being raped while another was being sacrificed and cannibalized? Then you're retarded. I'm sorry. That doesn't pass any kind of smell test. So I chase down the freaking lead because it's a waste of time, but I'll chase it down anyway. And it is one of the anonymous tip lines again. It's another one of those anonymous tip lines pieces of shit, right? These aren't real. If you can't get this through your head that anybody can say anything they want on an anonymous tip line, do you know why this shit is being included? So we won't look at the important stuff. The important stuff are emails that go back and forth between people like Elon Musk and Jeffrey Epstein. Those are real, right? Those are important. There are a lot of people. The guy that runs the New York Giants, one of the co-founders of the New York Giants, one of the guys who is the owner of the New York Jets. These are scumbags. See this woman right here? That's her. That's my wife. That was taken on our wedding night. We're not having sex, although that's been run all over the place. That's not how we have sex. Normally, it's a different kind of a setup. But if that offends you, the door is just past the water cooler on the left. It's a beautiful photo, right? Her nipples covered. I don't want to hear it. But there are people who are offended by that. There are people out there that kind of hope that I will just flirt with everybody and not have a girl. I'm married, right? Live with it. I'm sorry. It is what it is. But the people that leave the ridiculous comments and send emails, I'm offended by that. Well, I'm offended by the fact that you're breathing oxygen. No shit. I really am. And before you all start filling out forms and writing things, we have bottled water in this country it comes in green bottles. There are things that don't pass the smell test. How about putting them to the smell test before you leave a comment? Somebody left a comment today, and God bless him. I'm not mad at him. Look, Orly and I disagreed yesterday. Orly's back today. We're still best of friends, right? There are a lot of people that will disagree with what I say, and they will come with an intelligent comment of why they disagree with me. And I'll go, well, I can completely understand where you're coming from, right? Here's why I disagree. It doesn't mean that we can't get along. It's okay to not vote for the same person. It's okay to not believe in the same things. You just can't be an asshole. And I got a comment today that said, you're stupid. That was the leadoff. I'm stupid. And the reason I'm stupid is because Nick Reiner was an asset of the United States government trained by the Trump administration to kill his father. Why? Well, because he made those documentaries that many people saw, but nevertheless was destroying Trump's chance at what, a third or fourth term or whatever the hell their thought process was. But I'm stupid for not realizing that this kid who has already admitted that he did it isn't guilty. Smell test, right? All of these people that keep talking about MK Ultra, go watch my mother-loving video on MK Ultra. Go watch what happens when you actually try to program someone to get their psyche to split into two different pieces, right? This isn't something you're doing on an outpatient program. I bring you in for 3 hours a day. I do a little quick MK Ultra shit, and by the end of the week, I got you ready to go kill your dad. Someone wrote, well, the rehabs would have been a perfect place. Same person, by the way. The rehabs would have been a perfect place to do this programming. They would do sleep deprivation, not allowing you to sleep, not allowing you to get into the dream state. And they would do it for 100, 120 days at a whack. He never spent more than 28 to 30 days at any rehab. But we were supposed to believe every time he got to the rehab, they went out to go and get him a decade before they knew that his dad was going to be making videos about Donald Trump. Who's stupid? Right? They had the crystal ball. We better start programming this kid now. What if Donald Trump ends up president in a decade and a half and his dad starts making videos about him? Holy shit, we're going to need someone to kill him. You do realize that all of those 18 rehab stints happened in about 7 years. So before Donald Trump was ever president, this kid would have been done with all of his rehabs. Genius. The fact that people continue to put stuff out that is absolutely stupid, right? Absolutely stupid. By the way, Reese, if you weren't here in time to see me axe Andrea Malloy, I apologize because it felt good. I'm sorry. It kind of felt good. And I love everybody that's putting their comments up, right? They're being very bold. And you know why they're being bold? Because they've never been an asshole somewhere else, right? If I had given the warning ahead of time, Andrea Malloy wouldn't have left a comment either, because she would have known she's one of those people that likes to go on the channel of folks that literally have 300 videos and 208 of them are about me and my brother, and the rest of them are about my wife, right? Nah, why should I be pissed that you're hanging out there? If I said to you, hey, I just came from a Christmas party, the guy that, has put a newspaper article out that says that you molest puppies and that your wife is a disgusting piece of shit, your brother is a fucking sex offender, and your daughter does X, Y, and Z. But I'm stopping by because when they're not talking about you, they're a hell of a lot of fun to be around. Miss me with that shit, right? Miss me with that shit. Chicken Cherry Cola, good to see you. I don't agree with everything anyone says. Critical thinking, do your own research, thinking for yourself. Let's try all of these before you take the low road and just throw insults. And here's the thing. You can disagree with me and still not throw insults, right? I don't agree with a lot of people. But as I start to do, right? As I start to do research on this, I got to watch other people's channels. Do you know the number of channels that I watched today that said George Bush molested little boys? And these arguments have come out. These things it's fact. It's not fact, man. It's not fact. It's utter bullshit. And once again, 3 different Secret Service agencies all came together, right? They all had to show up at the same place at the same time. So what are we talking about? Let's say 6 people per Secret Service detail. It's probably closer to 12 or 13, but let's say 6 or 7, right? So 21 of these agents got together and not one of them went, hey, you want to hear something weird? 3 past presidents, right? 2 Republicans and a Democrats all got together to hang out at this convicted child sex rapist house, and nobody told. A lot of people also said, you're not covering a lot of the Republicans that have been outed in this, like Steve Bannon. Oh, I did Steve Bannon on the last one. Oh, NIP. Well, the NIP's kind of covered, but if you guys are really good, I'm going to take it down. Might be next week. It is one of my favorite threats these days. Where is Johnny Scoville? He is practicing guitar at the other place. He's making videos of him playing the guitar. It's one of those things that he likes to get down in. Steve Bannon's a piece of shit. I've never said he wasn't. The fact that he spent as much time as he did with Epstein after Epstein had been convicted, he's a piece of shit. So's Trump. So keep calling me a MAGA guy. I don't like Donald Trump. I don't. I'm not a MAGA guy. I voted for him. Absolutely I did. I voted for him for one issue, and he delivered. He shut down the border. That's what I voted for him for, so that we would get less dope in there. Reese says, I love that picture. You really got to blow it up if you want to see it, man. Right? If you really want to see it, get a good picture and, right? Blow it up, because the look on her face is just absolute magic. Every time I look at it, I see something different. It's one of my favorite photos of all time, which is why it's there, you know? And you are in my living room, like it or not. That's where you're at. The wayward stories are a distraction from the truth. Ding, 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 Yahtzee. They are normally really sick. These are to avoid the truth. There needs to be justice for the victims. Well, there's a hell of a comment, right? If I knew how to grab it and show it up close. Oh, you're telling other people to. Yeah, I don't have the ability to, or I would do that, because it really is an amazing picture. What is the tattoo on my back? On the other side, you see a wing like an eagle. It's the duality of man kind of a thing. It's a heart that is very much black and stitched together. And there is a bat wing on one side. There's an eagle or an angel wing on the other. It was the duality of man. Happened at a time where I thought that was kind of cool. Giselle is hitting both streams. Well, how about that? All right, so here's the deal. Critical thinking aside, ideology is our biggest problem on planet Earth. There are names that if you're smart, if you've spent a lot of time in the lifeboat, there are names you're looking at right now and going, where is so-and-so? Where is so-and-so? Where is so-and-so? They're gone. And do you know why they're gone? Because we can't disagree, right? We can't. Don Lemon got arrested. Why? Because he went into a church, and there are laws that protect churches from having people go in and protest. If those laws weren't in place, every single Saturday, every synagogue in the United States would have people in there yelling about Palestine. Every single church that didn't believe in abortion or did believe in abortion, people would be going in there and harassing people while they were exercising their First Amendment rights, the right to choose the religion of their choice and to worship the way that they want. Now, a lot of people have come out and said, well, I think he ought to be arrested, but it's not a big enough crime. Okay, then change the effing law. But the law as it exists says you can't do that, and it carries a 10-year federal term. If that bums you out, that's not anybody's fault other than the people that wrote the laws. And the laws are there because it's a slippery slope. If you go, oh, yeah, well, you know what? It's not that big a law. I mean, yeah, Don Lemon went in and freaked out an entire church. After that episode, he's outside filming people coming out, and he's taking joy. He goes, look at that guy putting his hand around the kid. There are people coming out crying. He knew he was going in there ahead of time, right? He knew that they were going in there ahead of time. That's not a newspaper guy. That's not a journalist. That's a protester. He showed up with the protesters before they went there. That's protesting. If you see it happen and spontaneously go to cover it, you're a journalist. If not, you're creating the story you're covering. That's not allowed. I guess Eminem and Jay-Z are in the Epstein files too. I'm not going to bust your balls, Warren, but they are not. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not something in there that says their names, but there is nothing that has any meat on the bone. What you have to do is you have to get good at looking at where the information came from. Now, if you say a victim of Epstein said he saw this person, and this person there, If you say the 800 number or the tip line via email came in after the Diddy case had already started to say that Eminem was in on it, that Jay-Z was in on it, that Harvey Levin, look, you guys know me. You know what, David Booley, I appreciate that, man. I'm trying. I really am trying. Incognito says, I've been around all of the drama for long enough to know, long enough now, and I am intelligent enough to make up my own mind about Tommy and fam. I don't need to expose myself. Well, I appreciate that. I really do. And while we're on the subject, you saw it on Trap More Lost. Yeah, look, there's going to be a lot of stuff but this is what we have to understand. If we're going to be a group of critical thinkers, good to see you, Shannon Young, what's happening? If we say, why is this stuff in there? If the FBI already chased it down and knows it's bullshit, then why are they putting it in there, right? There are 6 million documents that were supposed to drop. Only 3 million did. So are we to assume that 3 million were so ridiculous that they didn't give them to us? Or are 3 million going to say things? Here's what they said. And I'm not making this up, right? They said, well, the reason that those other 3 million didn't come out is because they're going to expose victims, number one. It's going to show child sexual abuse material, videos that are going to show kids getting molested, number two. And it will show death. No shit. This is what they said. That's a snuff film. Now, not technically, because a snuff film would have to be disseminated. They would have to be selling it or whatever. But allegedly, there are tapes of kids dying or people dying. We don't know that they're kids. But this is their mouth. Right? Where the heck are the moms? Do we need to get people? You got to rich clips. Amber, I agree what you said over there, but I'll take your word for it. Why should we believe Bondi? Well, it wasn't Bondi that said it. It wasn't Bondi that said it. I don't think you should believe anybody. But you can take a look at when it's come out. Right? And you can like Donald Trump in the Dr. Riley tapes. Right? They couldn't find a dildo or a guy to shove something up Donald Trump's ass, so they needed to use a tent stake. Right? Because putting a condom on a tent stake makes a shitload of sense. I mean, this is just stupidity, right? To believe that Donald Trump got airlifted off of a sex farm over to a hospital, got treated for having a tear inside his rectum. One of the most famous rich people on planet Earth, and not one person decided to call the press for 15 grand or for 50 grand and go, you ain't going to believe what we got in the emergency room. I'm sorry, you're an ignoramus if you believe that. I am being censored. Rick Spicer. Stream is breaking up. It most assuredly is. Yeah, it's splotchy. There's not much I can do about that. One for the ladies. Good to see you. If I have blocked your other one, you can put the name up and I'll try to unblock it. But I also talked about the woman that was driving the van. Look, here's the deal, man. The protester broke the law. The woman in the van hit a cop. That cop had to go to the hospital for internal injuries. Whether you like that fact or not, it's the truth. The guy that went out and was protesting with the camera in the cop's face, when you get this close to a cop and he's in the process of dealing with another protester, you're interfering with a cop's job. That's a felony. If you don't like that, change the laws. But don't hate me for doing it. But I could name 5 people off the top of my hand that are never going to come back in my chat because of it. Oh, they'll come back. But they'll come back after I say something that they agree with so much. I know the game. You'll forget my name. I won't be here in another year if I don't agree with every freaking thing that you believe in. Guess what? I don't give a shit. What do you think of that? I don't give a shit. Since there were people who showed up at Diddy's parties just to be seen, couldn't that be true about Epstein parties? Absolutely, Lisa Trimble. And just as important as that, you had a lot of parties that this guy threw that were only thrown to buy him legitimacy. So he flies all these scientists down to his island. The little Lolitas aren't running around with no top on, right? They're not running around naked because that's not what the purpose of that night on Lolita Island was. That night was to legitimize what he did. So he's got scientists, he's got heads of universities. Don't get me wrong. The head of Harvard's a piece of shit. We're finding that out. But a lot of times they do everything that they can do, right? They do everything that they can do to legitimize this. And you go, why would he do that? Because he's not a child molester. He's a spy. He is a spy. And I don't want to offend anybody. I believe he's a spy that worked for 3 different agencies. But pick one, because he sure as shit was a spy for the United States. How about if we just do that? And then I'll keep a lot of other people happy. But let's just say he was a spy that did some stuff for the CIA. In the latest info dump, we see a whole lot of stuff about all of the evidence that they had against Jeffrey Epstein going into the case in Florida. They had enough to put this guy away forever, right? Forever. However, they didn't put him away forever. They cut a deal that gave him and any other co-conspirator, named or unnamed, going forward, full immunity. Why? Because he's a spy. That's not a deal rich people get. Tons of rich people go to prison, especially if it's over child sex crimes. But they waived all of that. By the way, in an interview that just got released in this new thing, an interview with Bannon, with Steve Bannon. Bannon asks him about being a convicted child sex rapist. And he says, I'm a tier 1. And Bannon says, I don't know what that means. Is that the worst? He goes, no, it's the smallest. Well, that's an effing problem, right? The fact that he was able to get that, you know what a tier 1 sex offender usually is? That's the guy that got caught taking a piss behind a dumpster and they bust him for having his dick out. It sounds like he's a bad dude. It's like the guy from Horrible Bosses. He took a leak on a playground in the middle of the night, so they hit him with a sex charge. That's tier 1. This guy was tier 3. There were so many victims that he sexually assaulted. But see, the government was willing to cover that up. Why? Well, that's the question, isn't it? What's the point of spying? Nothing is changing. Well, that's a great question. How come no one is asking where Ava Baroni is? Because Ava Baroni has put up a lot of TikTok videos of herself. We've seen Ava Baroni. She has grown into an absolutely stunning young woman. But I did a show on this a while back, Patty. Epstein's voice didn't sound like I expected. Jamie Cotton, I can see that. But so you watched it. I'm glad that someone here saw it. Did you see him laughing? They said, are you Satan? I mean, come on now. The answer should be, am I Satan? What the hell kind of question is that? He said, are you Satan? He went, he is Satan. What's the point of lying? Nothing's changing. Oh, I tend to disagree. See, here's the thing, and this is important. I'm going to throw this thing through my nose and get drunk. I'm going to take a deep breath, right? I'm going to take a deep breath. In the old days, spying was trying to get information. Where your nuclear weapons were being built. What kind of things were happening? Where did you have spies? That's not what spying is anymore. Now it's, I will find people who are in positions of power, right? Those positions of power could be kinds of industry, like guys who own football teams, own hedge funds, hedge fund managers, huge financial people, right? Number 2, it could be politicians. Number 3, it could be sports stars. Number 4, it could be actors, famous people, and you get dirt on them. And you go, well, what difference does that make? Well, because you now don't have to write policy or get someone elected to change government. What you say is, I got a picture of you with your dick in a 13-year-old's mouth. If you don't vote the way I want you to, we're sending it to the New York Times. Trust and believe that person's going to vote the way you want him to. And he's also going to get all of his friends to try to vote the same way. Politicians, that's covered. Now talk about huge people in industry. You call Bill Gates, who you've got pictures of him getting a mouth hug from a 14-year-old. And you say to him, hey, the new press release is going to be coming out in 4 days, right, on Microsoft. Is it going to be positive or negative? You realize you can't leak any of that info because it's a publicly traded company. So if I know 4 days ahead of time or 2 weeks ahead of time that you're going to say that your profits are down, you're going to say that you didn't get the deal with the government you thought you were going to get, then I can bet against your company. If I find out that your profits are up, that everything is great, and you got a new deal with the government, I can go long. I can bet that your stock is going to go up, right? And let's say that there was another company involved. Well, we decided that we're going to do this government deal, but we're not going to use Bill Ellison's company. I can short his, go long on yours. They get videos of people with kids, and they can manufacture money. They can change policy. They can swing sporting events if they want to. And all of these things can be done without having to elect somebody, without having to get somebody to go to a college, without having to get somebody to do anything. You understand? This is a new kind of spying, right? I'm really sorry that the splotchy is getting to you. What's a mouth hug? It's a blowjob, Taylor Miller. I'm sorry. YouTube will demonetize me for saying blowjob. I say mouth hug. It's the art of fellatio. And it's all fun and games and a really good time, unless by some chance the person that's doing it isn't old enough to vote, in which case we have a problem. And the purpose of the deal that was going on with Epstein, and it was called an operation by Ghislaine Maxwell. We have that in an email, right? She said Epstein is considering shutting down the entire operation. He didn't say we're not going to party there anymore. I'm sorry, Jeffrey's not going to be hanging out there. He's shutting down the entire operation. What is an operation? I mean, seriously, who the hell talks like that? By the way, that email was to Elon Musk, right? Bye, Tywilla. See, I got that name right. Hopefully I didn't offend her and that's what she was leaving. I didn't catch it. Taylor Miller says, I'm 29. I should have known that. Well, you know, I mean, it's not a term most people use. It's one of the reasons that betting when it's low and hoping it'll go high. Correct. If you're betting it's going to go higher, you're going long. If you're betting it's going to go down, you're doing what's called shorts. This is puts and calls, right? This is options. You don't just have to buy a stock today. You can bet on what a stock is going to be in 30 days. Think of it like a football game. The stock market, you can bet a stock will go up. You can bet a stock will go down. You can bet a stock will be up in a year. You can bet a stock it will be up in 6 months. All of these things can be bet on. It's not just whether or not a company is going to do well. So if you can destroy a company, if you know you can go in there and make a company go to dog shit, then you can short their stock and get rich in the process. He used blackmail material to get whatever he or his bosses wanted. Yeah, his handlers. WWE now stands for worldwide extortion. Yeah, well, look, this extortion thing's been going on a really long time. And make no mistake, people, make no mistake. This has been going on since the dawn of man. And Jeffrey Epstein getting busted. Do you think that politicians aren't banging kids today? They're doing it. They're just not doing it on his island. They are doing it in places like Telluride. Right? They're doing it in places like Aspen. They're doing it where rich people hang out and where all these people come and they come to festivals and anything else. And some new guy can come up and go, oh, I know who you are. You want to go to a party? You're going to love it, man. We got a lot of girls right out of college there, man. Pretty wild chicks, right? No cameras, no nothing. Why don't you stop on by? Because you're going to sign a contract, whether you like it or not. It's not literally signing a contract, right? But the first time that you go, okay, I'll do this, and you allow someone to get intimate with you who isn't 18, I'll tell you something right now. You call a politician and you say, I have a picture of you with a 26-year-old girl who's not your wife. You might have a 50-50 shot that politician's going to go, what do you want me to do? I'll do it, right? But if that person has any moral fiber, they're going to go, no, I'll take the fallout. You go ahead and tell the world that I cheated on my wife. I'm a cheater. I'm a piece of shit. But I'll take that fallout and I'll beg my wife to forgive me and maybe we can save it. But you go ahead and tell them. Make that same phone call and say, I got a picture of you getting a mouth hug from a 16-year-old and watch how fast they go, what do you want from me? Because there's no coming back from that. It's not just you're a cheater, right? You're an infidel. It's infidelity. It's all of these things. That's not what it is. It's a felony. And it's the grossest, most disgusting felony on planet Earth. Would that mean insider trading would be like the referees throwing and making decisions and calls that are widely inaccurate to keep the score rigged? Kind of, Tara Jackson. Here's what it is. How about this? This is a better example. We'll use the football analogy. Somehow, we're not betting on a football game. We're betting on a tape of a football game that happened 7 days earlier. And I know what the outcome is. If I'm allowed to go in and bet, that's a problem. Insider trading is when you know exactly what's going to happen to the stock before it happens. So a press release can't be told to anybody because the press release is going to wildly affect the stock. But guys like Epstein would know exactly what was going to happen long before that press release came out. What is Eminem being accused of? Not much. His name is just, people write stuff in and say, so-and-so was, you got to look at where the sources came from, because all the stuff about Trump, these are anonymous sources that came into the tip line in 2020. Look at the dates, all of those. They all came in around 2020 when he was just starting to run for president. I could send an anonymous tip to the FBI tomorrow that says I was molested by Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump, George W. Bush, and Bill Clinton at the same time. By the way, at that same time, I watched them eat the intestines out of little kids. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, someone sent exactly that. And there are jackwagons all over the internet running with it like it's a fact. And if you just happen to come across one of those feeds, then you're going to come back to me and you're going to leave a comment that goes, you're hiding the Republicans, right? You're a MAGA guy. Trump did this, this, and this. Holy shit. Anonymous stuff means nothing. Do you understand that? It doesn't. You have to be able to back some of this stuff up. And that's just simply not what's happening. Tommy, I didn't invest. I was a client of Service Rep, which also sounded embarrassing. And morality is not subjective. No, it is not. I'll tell you something. The age of consent, nobody, somebody just left a comment about the age of consent. Tara Jackson did. Nobody but nobody will argue that the age of consent should ever be made lower. Honestly, put a 2 in the chat if you think there's an asshole out there that would argue that out loud. Because you know what? There is. There absolutely is. Sadly, his attorney, what is his name? Somebody help me. Somebody help me. I can't believe I'm brain farting this. But the attorney of Jeffrey Epstein, Alan Dershowitz, thank you. Thank you. Alan Dershowitz, who used to be Epstein's lawyer and spent time on his island, was able to debunk the rumor that he was involved from a leaked email that said to drop his name and sell more books. I'll tell you something else, though, right? Alan Dershowitz wrote papers saying that he thinks that the age of consent should be lowered. There isn't a problem with a 14, 15, and 16-year-old girl consenting to sex. Alan Dershowitz, you're a scumbag. Come find me. I'm in Ecuador. Serve me with papers. You're a scumbag. Really. I mean, you're this far above the NAMBLA crowd. You're somebody that believes that this ought to be lowered, right? 18? Oh, that's way too high. For God's sakes. Allen Ginsberg is even worse. Speaking of NAMBLA, Allen Ginsberg is the worst, right? And you want me to shit on some people? Do you think the Republicans are talking about what a great guy Allen Ginsberg is? Because they're not. But the Democrats sure as shit are. Look at the awards that dude has been given by the Democratic Party. And he's a guy that comes out and says, boys under the age of 18 should be able to have sex with grown men, right? It's a beautiful thing. Good God in heaven, man. What the fuck happened to us as a society? Pardon my French, people. You know what it is? It's Andrea Malloy and her ilk. They got me a little salty. Who is he? He was part of the sort of beat poet generation back in the 60s. Ginsberg was a poet. And streamer Wings of Redemption said the age of consent should be 12. Good God. Everybody put that on your list of people not to listen to. In the UK, it's 16, but there were people trying to lower it to 14. You got to be shitting me, man. Apparently, Reese is going to miss Andrea Malloy. Personally, I am not. No, wrong. Did I say something wrong or were they being wrong? There is no minimum age requirement for marriage in California. Wow. Is that true? Can someone look that up for me? Oh, 12 would be wrong. Good God, man. I'll be really honest with you. I guess you got to have a year, right? So 18 is technically what we go with. But look, when I was an epic man whore, I was in that age group. And most of the people that I slept with were around 18. And I promise you, none of them had the brain pan to make a decision to sleep with a scumbag like me. What we know scientifically, 18 is still technically a child. The human brain doesn't fully mature until 20 to 25. So no, the legal age See, I agree with you. I happen to agree with that. I don't think that at 18, boys or girls are making great decisions. Dersh said it. A congressman tried to pass legislation to lower the age, but Dersh kept his underwear on during the message. Alan Dershowitz is a scumbag. And I'll tell you something. When there was a period of time when Virginia Giuffre said that one of the people she was trafficked to was Alan Dershowitz. She changed that. And I believe she changed that after getting threatened. And I think the fact that they couldn't keep her completely under their control is the reason that she is dead. And I find it offensive that we still don't know what killed her. I'm 33 and I think 18-year-olds as being itty-bitty babies, definitely not interested in dating one. Well, I find that really creepy too. Just checked. California requires minors to have consent from one parent and consent from the court. Yeah, it's still kind of nasty. Slingblade says they should raise the age of the draft qualification, in my opinion. I'll tell you what always pissed me off about the draft is that you could draft someone at 18 years old and force them to go fight and die for their country, but they can't have a beer, right, for 3 more years. We don't have a problem with you getting shot, right? But God forbid you're going to drink some alcohol. We don't have a problem with you making the decision to carry a gun and decide which one of these people needs to get killed. But a beer, that's just over the line. You mean you used to only like old men? I'm not trying to get technical, but I'm not an old man. See the picture? I'm not that old. I like it. I like it. Tara Jackson says, national security and plausible deniability, all of it can suck it. I'm with you. It's about power and control. There's no good reason for an adult to groom children into relationships or worse. I agree with you. Now, I'll tell you something else. There is another thing in there, right? Let's see your ID then, Reese. Tell you what, she hasn't got a wrinkle. I have made her produce her ID on 2 or 3 different occasions. Of course, at the time, we were role-playing some really foul shit you don't want to hear about, but I have made her pull out her ID. Here's the thing. There is also something that has come out in the most recent Epstein dumps, and it's about a girl who talks about giving birth to a child that was taken from her because Epstein was trying to breed a master race. Epstein was definitely trying to breed a master race. There's nothing about that that's bullshit, right? He's a damn good lawyer, right? And he knows constitutional law like no one else. I agree with you. He is a damn good lawyer. That's why he's worked at Harvard. He's very talented. The kind of cases he likes to take makes me think he's not a good human being, but that's just me personally. How many babies and fetuses are buried or were consumed on Zorro Ranch? Well, and that's the thing. This girl's testimony is compelling as shit. She talks about giving birth and what it was like and having to bear down and all the things that come along with birth. And she was told to shut her eyes. And then they put her hands over her eyes so that she wouldn't see the baby. But she did see the baby's arm and the baby's leg. Later on, if you listen to the entire testimony that she says, she talks about having the ability to be with the kid for 10 minutes and get to know it before it was stolen from her. But the whole point of her entire first thing was, I should have kept my eyes shut. If I had kept my eyes shut, I wouldn't have even known the child was alive. If I had kept my eyes shut, I wouldn't even have known it was a real child. It could have been a stillbirth. If I had kept my eyes shut, what the fuck are we talking about? If you kept your eyes shut, the fact that they gave you the kid 10 minutes later to hold on to for 10 minutes, it doesn't pass the smell test. I'm sorry. I want to believe everybody too. But when your own testimony contradicts the shit out of your earlier testimony, you're not worth listening to, right? I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm not. But everybody wants their narrative to be real, right? Trump's a shithead. We just got to run with whatever that is. Clinton's a pedophile. We need to run with whatever that is. And they're putting stuff in there to distract the shit out of us. Insider trading is buying Moderna before anyone knows there's going to be a plandemic. That's a hell of a comment right there. Spike that football. Drop the microphone. Yeah. I'll tell you another good one. Look, and you'll appreciate this, Woodman. You know what else insider trading is? It's shorting American Airlines stock on the 10th, right, of September in 2001. Some of the largest bets that were ever made against any company were shorting American Airlines stock right before they hijacked all those jets. There was somebody out there that knew that was going to happen, and they bet a shitload of money on American Airlines stock tanking, which most assuredly it did after the 9/11 hijackings. COVID was owned by Gates. Well, he sure as hell had some money in it. I don't know if he owned it outright. I think that Fauci probably had some shares, but most assuredly Gates didn't lose any money on it. Right? There's a lot of this is the Epstein tapes, the Epstein files, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, Martha Stewart. How sad is it that Martha Stewart? You know what Martha Stewart did? Honestly, I should ask people to put a 2 in the chat if you know exactly what Martha Stewart did wrong. What happened with the Clinton subpoena? I'd be in jail right now if I did that. So would all of you. How do you feel about that? Sling Blade, I'd be doing 25 years if I refused to go and talk to him. Here's what Martha Stewart did. Martha Stewart knew her own company wasn't doing well. And she said to someone that she knew that had a lot of stock in her company, you might want to get out now, right? Because the next press release isn't going to be good. Tommy, are you vaccinated? No, I am not. I am not vaccinated. But I've broken every other law of man and nature. Why would I start with following the vaccine laws? I care not about their laws. I never did, but I will never care again about smoking a joint. You know what? Light it up, Tara Jackson. It's only weed. I'm not mad at you. That was over 50K sometime as Enron. Hey, there's a good Enron tie-in with Johnny Scoville, but I don't want to out Johnny Scoville. If Johnny's in the chat, maybe he'll let me. But I know a good Enron story that has something to do with my brother. Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart team. You know what? Call me a bad person, but I like to think they've had sex. Does that make me a bad person? Put a 3 in the chat if you kind of want that visual image of Snoop Dogg dogging down Martha Stewart. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I just find it fun. And I like the idea of them burning a big joint right before they do it. See that? I'm not alone. I think it's ridiculous to think that anyone who was on that island was engaged in that activity. Some, yes, but not everyone. Yeah, exactly. However, when you got somebody like Elon Musk, I caught a lot of shit for this too. Somebody like Elon Musk who says, hey, I want to be there on the wildest night possibly. What do you think that means? Right? Somebody said to me, you're not critical thinking this. You preach critical thinking, but you're not critical thinking. He didn't show up there. Give you a perfect example. Right? So Elon Musk never showed up on the island. Number one, we don't know if that's the truth. However, if it is, I'll stipulate he's never been on that island. Does that mean that his emails are okay? Is it okay to say I want to be on that island, but then not actually go there? That doesn't make him a scumbag? Because I will throw this to you in another way. What if you go on to a dating site and there's a person on there who's 13? They're not really 13. They're a cop, right? But they say they're 13. And you say to that person, hey, I'd like to have sex with you. You know, I kind of want to do this, this, and this. And I want to see your naked young body and blah, blah, blah. Well, you committed a crime. You didn't actually bang a 13-year-old. There wasn't even a 13-year-old there. But you committed a crime. Now, I'm not saying. They're super fun, though. Come on. You want to see him banging. You want to see him banging. I'm not trying to make this uncomfortable for you. I'm not. But you kind of hope it was doggy and he had 1 foot up. Cut me some slack. We all want to see it. He said the last thing I wanted was a peaceful vacation. That is exactly what he said. Patty King says Musk is nefarious. I wouldn't have agreed with you 2 weeks ago. I wouldn't have. But they have already committed a crime when they started talking about this. Crook Egg, good to see you, Crook Dixon. What's happening? Oh, you know what? Don't take the high road. I will out you. You want to be outed? I will out you. You're a bigger freak than anybody. Don't start with me. I heard one poster that talked about Maxwell having a helicopter license, which didn't have anything to do with flight logs. there are some really bizarre things that people are running with, but I promise you, this is no different than Operation Blue Book, right? This is our government and the people at our government going like this, right? You want to catch a golf ball. I throw that golf ball up and I go catch it. And 400 other people throw up 25 golf balls at the same time, right? Release the nip. They haven't been good enough yet. Oh, it's coming. Maxwell had a submarine and a submarine license. Is a submarine dock on the island. How much can you get away with? How sinister is that? I don't know that I believe it. I don't know that there's any such thing as a submarine license. I mean, I don't. It might be real. It might be real, but I still find it entertaining as hell. I really do. But just understand, this is flack, right? This is noise. This is meant to distract us. 3 million mother-loving emails. I mean, documents. 3 million. You know how long it's going to take for somebody like me to go through 3 million emails? The rest of my life. I'm using different things to track them down. I'm using different things to try to narrow the field of focus, right? But how hard is it to go through 3 million, right, documents? And this is just the latest dump. They throw out dumb shit so that we all focus on that. Why? Because they have to release this shit now. There's a law. They have to release this. They're doing everything within their power to make sure that we're not seeing the important stuff. And how do you do that? Flack. You throw up way more stuff. And I told you people this long before this ever came out. I said the very first thing I ever did a Freedom of Information FOIA request on was MK Ultra. And they told me how much money they spent on paper clips. They told me who got drivers, who had the ability to drive this vehicle versus that vehicle. How much were they spending on gasoline? That's not important. But they know if they dump all that shit in there, it makes finding the needle in the haystack a lot harder. Yeah, the helicopter. I'm sorry, hold on. I already had that one. Da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Correct. Half of the emails are powerful men asking how to covertly dose their wife with antibiotics. Allegedly. Well, that's only one of the emails, but that's a fun one, isn't it? Huh? Bill Gates wants to treat Melinda. We're going streaking. We're going down to the quad. Yeah, I mean, realistically, he wants to be able to dose his wife up because he gave her the clap. But he doesn't want her finding out that she got. So he wants to get antibiotics from the man himself. Why not? He's already been getting him Adderall, right? Epstein was a scumbag, but he was a professional scumbag. You know what? I happen to agree with you 100%. It's why I'm hanging it up. I think it's the most beautiful picture ever taken. I really do. It's one of those photos that every time I look at it, I see something different in my wife's eyes. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. That, and I knew it would embarrass her. You know, I said to her once, I'm thinking of hanging the wedding photo on the wall for my show. And she went, yeah, whatever. So I thought, well, she's kind of called me out on it. And if you think this is embarrassing, wait till I unleash the nip, because it's coming. I'm surprised by nothing anymore. You know, here's the thing. I'm not surprised by the actual stuff coming out. I'm surprised by how gullible we have become as a society, because we will believe anything. See, a lot of people really like that picture. See that, Reese? I was right. Oh, I've embarrassed Reese before. You want to play these games? I've already embarrassed you, and the whole world saw it. Knock that off, kid. You're not that tough. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a dick, but you've been embarrassed. I believe, hold on. Let's go into the Wayback Machine. I was talking to you. You were still married at the time. We weren't cheating yet. Don't start judging me. You were still married at the time, and we were talking about honeymoons. And you said, on my honeymoon, I want to eat lots of enchiladas and do stuff like that. And I said, I'm a big fan of enchiladas, but I don't think I'll be eating them on my honeymoon. And then you said, really, what will you be eating on your honeymoon, Tommy? And I went, and you started to blush on film. Reese, you were there. I've never heard Trump mention the victims of Epstein and the rest of the pedophiles. I'm not sure how. You know what? I think I have, Rick. I think I could probably pull up some tapes on that. But I mean, he's certainly never come out and done a 30-minute show on it. But he's definitely talked about how, especially when he was running for office, the reason that these Epstein tapes had to be released was because there were thousands of victims and they deserved the right to be heard, right? So that, I think, is him talking about that. But I understand your point. Certainly since he came into office, she did eat enchiladas on her honeymoon. I did not. But since he came into office, I'll tell you something else, right? I've heard other people say this, but it's absolutely true. There are 3 million documents that did not come out, right? And they would say to you, well, those documents they don't pass the law that was passed, that we had to release this, this, and this. That doesn't line up with that. And maybe these may expose women. Well, we could redact their names. We could remove pictures. It might do this, this, or this. The President Trump that was running for office would have cried bullshit. He would have said, this is a cover-up. This is bullshit, because that's how he ran. He ran on this subject. He doesn't seem to be the same guy anymore. Did you see the email about Howard Lutnick saying that he was taking several children and their ages to the island? This is after he said he had no contact on a filmed interview. Yes, I did. By the way, there are a shit ton of people that have claimed that they had no correspondence with this guy, and all of a sudden it's out there for the world to see, right? There is a ton of it. By the way, they were good enchiladas. And the enchiladas I didn't eat, even better. Giggity. You know what? I don't care. I know people, I'm going to get, there'll be all kinds of people out there. They're literally saying I put pornographic pictures up. You should have seen the ones I didn't hang up. That's not even close to pornographic. Howard Lutnick is a lowlife. So many of the people whose names are in there, and I promise you, I'm going to out them, right? But I started with trying to out the most important of them, the ones that people were worried about. Who put that up there? That is, come on now. Maud, handle it. Sorry. Seriously, people. I don't know who the wrench was on that. But I started out with the names that people were really interested in. Not because it's going to feed my audience, but because it's a hell of a lot easier to look up what happened with Elon Musk than it is to happen with some name that no one's ever heard of. And there are a lot of names in here that are guys that just own big hedge funds, or they, if you've never caught our OnlyFans channel, you really should. There's some vicious shit over on that. And I know you think I'm kidding, but check OnlyFans. Check it. You'll thank me later. Nope, that would not classify as pornographic. I don't do anything pornographic on this channel. I really don't. This is art. I like you. Anything here, I promise you, is art. The photo is art. See that? Sony agrees with me. I call him Nutlick, the same guy who fucked over his employees that survived 9/11. That's exactly who it is, MJ. Great comment. And you know what? I might go with Nutlick from this point on. I got to tip my hat to Pimpin'. I like the Nutlick thing. Damn hair. I swear to God, Katy Perry is the Southwest distributor of hair for all of this country. The photo is art. It's why I'm hanging it up there. I really like it. You know what? You got to respect this kind of honesty. If anyone in this chat knows porn, it's me. That's not it. And although I don't know Cricket well, I know she's not a liar. So she's obviously wicked into porn. I think we can take her word on this. Whine a little bit more. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. So let's do a recap for people that just got here. Andrea Malloy sucks. And I want us to put critical thinking up. You don't have to agree with me, right? You also don't have to hate me if you disagree with me. The stuff that happens in Minnesota is polarizing. It's polarizing. But you absolutely comment of the day. Barbara Wade says, stop. You're giving Nutlicking a bad name. God, what a great audience. Barbara Wade, good for you, man. And this is why, right? I worked on porn sets and managed smut shop and wrote for AVN. No kidding. Did you ever happen to catch me in a film? Just curious. If each page takes 3 minutes to read, 3 million times 3 minutes, 900 million minutes converted to hours. Yeah, there's just no way I'm going to be able to pull that off. But I will pull out the cool things. Of course you did. You're a pervert. The only thing that takes away from the art is the lifeboat sticker. Look, the lifeboat sticker is coming down. When we get a chat where you guys are cooking and my chat rate's at like a 2.4, I'm just going to reach over there. I'm going to pull that off and I'm going to show the nipple. I promise you, it's going to happen. Just not ready to do it quite yet. I'll give you a hint though. Might be brown. There, I said it. Don't judge me. We're married. All right, people, look. The Minnesota thing is absolutely polarizing. There are people that are going to get very pissed off because people believe in one way or another, right? We don't have to agree with each other. But here's my take. The law was broken. If you don't agree with me on that, it doesn't mean you have to hate me. And I know you're listening. You're here. You haven't put up your comments, but I know who you are. You turned on me last time this fast. You'll turn on me again. But here's the deal. The law was broken. If you don't like that, change the law. But the law was broken, right? By the way, I got one I want to do before we leave. By the time the annual expo came around, I didn't even want to see myself naked. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Yes, we can get some ones for your dad who's a firefighter and got called to a structure fire. Yes, absolutely. Thoughts and prayers for your dad. Now, this one is for Merrill. I don't put up other content creators, especially when they're pieces of shit and they're bad human beings. But you're not going to see who this person's content is. But can you see that? It says, "Are you a sellout?" And that little picture right there, that one right over there, that right there is a picture of a black man hanging from a noose. This is a classy dude. This is who Merrill Honing says, they're not Nazis. Stop saying they're Nazis. I want you to listen very carefully. This is a relatively new post from this dude.
But like I said, I don't care how much of an asshole you are or how much I don't like you. If you're a white guy, I would never root for the black guy against you. You know, and that's just a fact. And a lot of people are fucking sellouts today. Yeah, and they just want to be PC and go with the flow. Well, fuck you.
Classy.
Like I said,
right? Classy. Tell me that's not classy. These are the people that talk about what a scumbag I am. These are their friends, right? This dude's an unrepentant Nazi. Now, here's the funny thing. That means that as much as he hates the Scovilles, if my beef with black guy side with me, the irony of that is that Merrill is siding with this scumbag and all the other Nazis that hang out with him because she hates me so bad that she would side with Satan over me or my wife or my brother. Classy, Merrill. Classy. No wonder you crochet penises. It's the only way you're going to get a look at one. You are a lowlife. Helpless. You can tell a lot about a person with who they hang out with, the people they call friends. Honestly, I'd rather jump in front of the bus than call an unrepentant, racist piece of shit a friend. But it makes a lot of sense now why he hates me, doesn't it? Because I come on here and I tell you, the reason that I'm alive and the reason that I'm sober is because a black person helped get me sober. I'm sure that must piss him off to no end. She'd do anything to bone me. Well, keep crocheting those penises, Merrill, because that's as close as you're getting. Wow, racist and stupid. Well, that's kind of like saying let's help stamp out and eliminate redundancy. All racists are stupid. Racism literally is the embodiment of ignorance, right? It's the belief that we are different because of skin color or because of heritage or because of religious belief. That literally is the definition of ignorance. And it's not, I guess it's not stupid per se, but ignorance is a lack of knowledge. It's something you haven't learned yet. So they keep themselves into this little racist bubble, right? Yeah, you got a chance of seeing our Lord and Savior in a pair of sunglasses and a tie-dye t-shirt. But she can keep crocheting. And I'll tell you something, by the way, this guy likes to talk about how I victimize women. He has a warrant out for his arrest, right, for not paying child support. And he's $80,000 in arrear for settlements that he didn't pay. Lovely. One for the ladies. Relatable Reasons, Megan Roberts. I don't know if Tommy blocked me or my crazy ass blocked him on my channel I use for viewing. I feel terrible that my trauma response was that mental. I did not block you to the best of my knowledge. In fact, I'll tell you in one sec, though, because I'm pretty good at this. I've learned recently. So hold on for 1 second and I'll tell you. Unless by chance you sent me a really foul email, I really didn't have time to track most of them down to see who hated me. But hold on 1 second. No, it's given me the opportunity to block you. Oh, but this is under your new name. Well, do me a favor. Put up the normal name, and I'll take a picture of it. And if I've blocked you, then I will unblock you. Whitby Island Girl, good to see you. All right, people. I don't like doing content like this. I'm not going too often, but I'll tell you something right now. The people that want to go and trash those that I love or me on other platforms, the fact that you're hanging out on a scumbag's platform like this will get you blocked. If I see that you're leaving comments on a place like that, I don't want to know you. Do you understand? If you can justify this asshole because you dislike me, I don't want you around. What's her name? I already forgot it. I really did. Isn't that beautiful, though? That's kind of the nature of the beast. Hold on, I have to look it up. I was so lucky she came in tonight. You know, a lot of the times when I want someone to come in so that I can absolutely trash them, they never do. Her timing was perfect. She was right in the beginning of the show. Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Hold on. Bear with me. I find this rather important. Andrea Malloy. That's who it was. Hey, thank you, Quibs. Andrea Malloy. Yeah, she commented on a bunch of people's pages that hate me. And it's funny because she comes here every night and tells me how fantastic I am. But I said it before, I'll say it again. If I have a Christmas party, and every year I invite people to my Christmas party, and you show up and go, oh, I just left a party of a guy that says, you're a piece of shit, your wife's a piece of shit, and so is your son. However, when they're not talking about you, they're the best. You'd go, get the F out of my house. Well, this is my house. Andrea, take it easy. Have fun over there on the haters channels. That's where you belong. Barbara, wait. Who the hell's Andrea Malloy? Spoken like somebody that's been around a long time. All right, people. I think I'm going to wrap this one up. Not because my girl's in the chat, and for some reason that means I have to go talk to her, although that's a hell of an attempt. No shit. No, I think I'm going to take off because every freaking show I do is the same length. I start going too much longer than that, and I got a really good chance of offending somebody. But please do me a favor. Come back tomorrow night. I can promise you a couple of things. I will be a little bit calmer, and there's a 50-50 shot. I'm ripping that sticker off the nipple. I am Tommy. I will see all of you on the next one. Between now and then, if you see Andrea Malloy, tell her I said, blow me where the pamper sits. Have a great evening, people. I'm Tommy. God bless.